Question that I oftentimes get at the beginning of a counseling conversation is, how long is this going to take? And there's kind of two questions in the question. The first is, I'm in pain, I'm not sleeping, I'm having panic attacks, I'm not getting along with my spouse. How much longer until we do get better? And the second one is, how much is this going to cost? How much am I going to have to shell out for this? So let me talk about the second one first. In terms of a cost, it oftentimes is important to know what you're bringing in. So let's start with the highest cost. If there's been infidelity in your relationship, that's the highest cost. That's generally 18 months to 2 years. It can be done quicker, but think of it as a 10,000 pound problem. Now, I'll get a lot of people to say, well, I've got something with my work, or they might have a 500,000 pound house and they're wanting to get a discount counselor through their work. That is not helpful. And then they might move towards divorce and they have lost hundreds of thousands of pounds in their divorce, and because they didn't want to pay 10,000 pounds for counseling. Now, full respect, everybody has to make their own decisions. So I'm working with couples and with individuals. So let's take an individual, and they're an individual or even a couple, and they're like, I have this problem and I'm trying to solve it. I've got panic attacks. I've got church hurt. I've been deconstructing from my faith, what have you. Or we've been stuck. I mean, I work with couples that are in their 70s and 80s, almost 80s, and they've been stuck for 50 years. So just think of it in terms of stages. So I would say, don't meet with me more than once. Just think of it as, I'm going to commit to meeting one time. And if you meet with me one time and you think, I met this random guy in line, I think I can trust him, go for 6. And if you can do 6, we'll have started to chart the dance, figured out how you can own your positions, start to understand coping strategies, begin to figure out how to have an intervention. That's about 6 sessions in. 6 to 12, you're doing something there. You're generally beginning to get de-escalated. This is what we call stage 1 work. De-escalated. If you're in a couple, you're starting to begin to give their protective strategies the benefit of the doubt. The things that have triggered you in the past were their protection, and their protection becomes your trigger. So that's what 6 to 12 generally looks like. Now, 12 to 20 is oftentimes we're starting to move into stage 2 work. So that's kind of beginning to address not only in a couple's context, not only the dance of what you've gotten into, but also your own view of self, this is where the deeper part. So if you just do stage 1 work, it'll oftentimes provide a lot of relief. People will say, I'm not yelling at my kids anymore, but the stage 2 work makes it sustainable. So 12 to 20 is generally what would be normal there. So in my practice, it's not unusual for me to see people for 6 months, even to a year, for presenting problems. But what's important that makes it longer, as a general rule, I like to say there's kind of 4 things that make it longer. The first thing that makes it longer is if you had traumatic experiences growing up. Now this is challenging because these are the things that were done to you. The second is, what was your security in your relationship with your family growing up? Was it a very secure relationship? Was it very chaotic? That generally prolongs the healing process, or just makes it slower. The third thing I'll refer to as differentiation. How much do you generally see the problem as external? He's the dirtbag, she's the narcissist, the people around me are the biggest problem, and how much are you able to see that some of your patterns begin to contribute to some of that hurt? And so that's kind of the third thing. And the fourth thing, in terms of what's going to prolong or make it shorter, is how long have you been stuck? If you've been stuck for 3 decades, it's going to take longer. And that's not to say that there's something wrong with you. It just means that for your nervous system to feel safe, for you to feel a little bit more like yourself, for you to drop down some of those protections and move into vulnerability, where a lot of the healing occurs, it's just going to take time, because your body is functioning as it should be when there's been a high level of threat. So when you think about moving forward with counseling, I like to kind of think of it as, give it a go, have 1 session, have 6 sessions, have 12. And some people, they're like, I don't want to do the deeper work. I'm just feeling better and I'm going to quit at 12. Great. Quit at 12. Quit at 1. This is you have the ownership here. So as long as you're making the decisions, and the important part of this process as well is, I want to introduce the dignity of choice. Because let's be honest, you've gotten stuck. And sometimes when you're stuck, you don't feel like you have a lot of choices. And so as you move forward, how long is it going to take? There's a number of factors, but I would encourage you, however long it takes, it's worthy work. And I look forward to working together with you.